For people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them it can stem out something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, today's guest, you may know him as a professional writer, a news reporter, and you're now in the entertainment world. So the first question I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much. My name is Geoffrey Altrocchi. I'm 42 years old. I live in Inglewood, California. I work in customer service to pay my bills. And, you know, during COVID, I got more and more creative, as we all did. I joined a writer's group and I started writing a lot. I wrote a screenplay, and then with my stimulus checks, I bought a iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I've just started. I've been making movies with my writers group, and then I've started my own YouTube channel. So I've started to create content just with some funny things that I have in my head, and I'm just starting to really pick up steam here. And it's a good setup. It's having that full-time job, so you have that taken care of. Okay, it's your day off. It's your days off. Now go be creative. Or it's, you got that period after work where you can go be creative. And I got this beautiful phone here. I got a 12 Pro Max. And so the footage looks beautiful. Yeah.
I actually have a 12 too, but I didn't want the Max. The Max was too big.
Oh, okay. And so I'm on one hand shooting with people who are much more experienced than I am, and sort of hopefully developing a sort of apprenticeship as far as becoming a director. And then what I notice is on the other end, when I'm by myself or when I'm at home in Inglewood, I can sort of what I think is funny comes out. And I just grab my phone and film myself, and it's been good. It's been a good high,
No, absolutely. So the next one I want to ask you is, you mentioned you're in the entertainment. So are you like an actor? Because you did mention you are a writer and a former or a current news reporter.
Yeah, well, so I love acting. I've done a lot of acting. I've always, conversation that my dad and I always had back and forth. He saw a play that I directed in college, and he said, I feel like you're more of the behind the scenes sort of kind of like big picture kind of guy, because he really dug that play, and that meant a lot to me, and I carried that with me. And I think about that a lot. But I've done a lot of acting just to get close to the camera. So I do act. I like to act. I love to act, and I have a good face for the bad guy. Out here in Hollywood, I always get cast as the gangster, the bad guy, whatever. But I think, I feel like my heart is like, okay, let's write it, let's produce it, let's direct it. I'm behind the camera. You guys play. Do your thing. And so that's kind of like the angle I'm taking. A lot of times when I'm just filming myself, it's because there's no one else there. Ideally, though, I'd like to give people the words and have them say it, and and then,
no, it's funny, you're wearing blue and I'm wearing blue. But if, for an example, what you said, how you look now, you could be a businessman, or you can be a monster. For me, I don't really wear a sports jacket because I don't want to be too much. But, if someone has to look for it, I recently got a haircut, so now I'm more looking like my normal self. If I put my sunglasses on, I look like a real badass. So imagine, I like playing dress up, okay? I'm just going to throw it out there. Because if you play dress up, you can express yourself, and your creative personality comes out more.
Can I show you something?
Absolutely.
So I woke up today and I still had that work on me, the work stress or whatever. And I went into 7-Eleven and they had this at the counter. And I just was like, yeah, why not? And it was like $20, but I was like, you know what? I need this. And it's got my favorite team on it. I hope that's okay to plug them. And then it's a big gold chain. And I walked around with a gold chain on for a little while with some coffee, and it felt right. So
did anyone think you were a pimp?
no. They might have thought it, they didn't say it.
That's true. Usually when something pops in my head, I just blur it out. I'm like, yeah, I should really think before I talk.
Trust me, my friend. Trust me. I work in. I'm that way too. I've been hit. I mean, I've been beat up before based on stuff that I said. I made it a long way without getting beat up for being I know that you said this PG, so I won't, for being a wise mouth, but eventually it caught up to me. So yeah, and I work in customer service now, so I really have to measure. I really have to turn it off, man. And that's, I think, where the creativity comes in after work, where I could just spit out. It just spit, But at work, I have to. People tell me things I don't want to hear all day long, and it's like you have the comeback in your head, and you got to switch it off,
No, I agree. Like I said, it's PG all the way up to 14, but it's uncensored. It's freedom, speech, self-expression.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember one time when I worked at the U.S. Polo, I used to say the expression, "I'm sorry to bitch to you." And I said it to my boss. It's like, it's your mouth just dropped open. It's like, I didn't call you a bitch. I said, I'm sorry to bitch to you. I mean, I'm sorry to complain to you. I'm sorry. Like, I'm your boss, right? Yeah. But going back to Isaiah, I don't think before I speak if it's, but I don't say it. I try not to say that anymore. But it's kind of like, how can you you did hear the upper words come out of my mouth, but all your focus is on that one word that I said. But I can't think stupid. But the other thing that caught my interest is that you are a writer. Mm-hmm. So hypothetically, would you be interviewed, or trying to find the words for it, would you be interested in writing something like about me? And for people who want to know a little more about your background as being a news reporter, how did that happen?
Okay. So I went to school, majored in political science, almost got a degree in dramatic arts, but I like to write. And, when you major in something like political science, you're writing all the time, writing papers, stuff like that. I tried to take where I was going. They didn't have minors or majors in journalism. But that's not for, I made the effort. And actually, have you ever seen the movie The Insider?
Yeah.
So, okay, the movie that guy was, if you remember at the end of the movie, it says, I think his name is Lowell Berman. It said he teaches at UC Berkeley, and that's where I was going to school. So I tracked him down. He was teaching a graduate course on writing. And I was going to take a course, but I ended up not being able to. I think because it was a graduate course. But anyway, long story short, when I got out of school, I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not sure. My uncle said, hey, have you ever thought of about being a cub reporter? I didn't know what that meant, but I think what he was saying was like an entry-level reporter. And it just hit. I thought I was in the shower. I thought, yeah, that's what it is. That's what I'm going to do. So I went to Reno and I applied to the Reno Gazette-Journal. Didn't get in. I applied to the Sparks Tribune, and during the interview, I said, "Hey, I'm a funny guy," and that went over well. And then they sort of said, "All right, we'll pay you $200 a week until you get up to speed." So I was kind of like there, just hustling, and I had the writing skill, but not the the AP style and this reporting and stuff like that. So sort of a apprenticeship for a moment, and then it sort of started to click. And then so I was the city reporter. Well, I started out as the crime reporter, and then they moved me to the education desk to report on education. And then I ended up being a city reporter. And I also, at that time, they allowed me to start an entertainment page on Thursday where we did movie reviews. And that's really where I lit up and shined. And then also they allowed me for a year to have my own humor column. And again, that was where my personality came out. I was able, and they were very liberal. I never felt like they axed any of my ideas or anything like that. They were very kind about it. So it was a good fit for a little while.
Hey, if you know any reporters who want to write or interview me, I won't say no.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like you said, we could talk. I mean, I'd be happy to help with any type of anything. I'm currently not being published anywhere, but I miss it. It's funny. I was just thinking about that. I miss it. And so again, I got that steady income. So a lot of times when you want to get started with something like that, you volunteer, there's a lot of things that they'll let you write for free, obviously. And, I remember when I started, I started writing for a college newspaper. That was kind of cool. Anyway, what were we going to say?
I was going to say, how would you feel about freelancing?
Oh, good. I would feel good about that. I think that's a good idea. And it's been suggested to me over the years. And I think I was just never able to sort of line it up, make it work. But I would feel really good about that. I think it'd be fun.
Well, definitely, you can talk about that off the air. But the other question I want to ask you is, you as a news reporter, have you ever met any famous people, number one? And what were some of your favorite stories that you covered?
Oh, cool. Yeah, great. So the first, famous people, I met the drug czar at the time. I don't know what that, I just remember drug czar. I'm not sure what the correct title would be, but like like Michael Douglas's character in Trafficking or Traffic, like the guy who's sort of appointed by the president to fight drugs, and he came to a symposium that we were having on meth and other things. There's a big meth problem in Reno, and he came to talk, and I got to ask him some questions. I also, at the time, met the governor of Nevada, Kenny Gwynn. I met a future governor of Nevada, Jim Gibbons. And that's it. That as far as famous people go. So just sort of like regionally known people. I've met more famous people just going to the grocery store here in LA. I saw Tom York once in Hollywood. Anyway, but the second, you said, have I met any famous people? What was my favorite story to report on?
Yes.
So there was I remember one time I was working on a story, and our photographer was very enterprising. She was probably a better reporter than any of us. And she came in and she said, "Drop what you're doing. The feds are raiding the Hells Angels compound." And so that was a fun story. And then also I feel like the education, my mom asked me this once, what was your favorite part of your time there? It was actually the education desk. It really touches that soft side of you, and you see all these kids fighting to get in college and trying to better themselves. And, I remember I did a special section on a special graduation section, and there were these kids with disabilities who were trying to get the grades to graduate. At that point, you're talking about like a 2.0. Needing a 2.0 or something, and I was obsessed, of course, with my 4.0 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But these kids are fighting for every grade and every moment. And there was one girl, it was down to the wire. She didn't know. And that was special. And as were a lot of those education stories, it just kind of leaves you with this sort of nice glow,
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
The other question I wanted to ask you is, what attracted you to begin your career as a writer?
I feel like it's just sort of the satisfaction that you get when you're doing it. I remember I've been telling people recently, actually, said, hey, I need to write more, because when I was in college, there was a period. So when you're taking classes, you're writing all the time. But there was a period like during the summer where I was just taking one class or something. And mark my words, I was writing for 2 hours every day, and it made me happy. It made me happy. And same thing when I was working in a daily paper, it was kind of like you wake up with a sort of peace in your head, like a satisfaction and a sort of like peace. And you take that with you. And then when you turn your piece in at 12:30, you go get some coffee, get some popcorn, whatever. Think about it. Think about your next story. It's all very cerebral and nice. I think that, a lot of people were attracted to that same sort of making peace, organizing your thoughts and churning out something that might help someone or might bring them some joy. And it's just sort of a really simple feeling,
Now, the next one I want to ask you, it's the same question, only is about entertainment and being a reporter. Is it like a similar story? Does one thing led into another, or is those two completely different stories?
Well, they sort of, you're saying my being like a writer and then wanting to get into entertainment?
The same question I was going to ask is, what attracted you to begin your career as a news reporter? And the same question, you're only taking news reporter out and you're replacing that with entertainment.
Nice. Yeah, it's something where, like I put in my bio when I was doing sports in high school, and I dislocated my shoulder, and we had the first ever, not ever, but the first in a while play that they were casting, and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I used to do that in elementary school or whatever. I tried out, and the lady who was doing it, she said, "Are you interested?" I said, "Yeah." And then I remember I called her. I said, "I want to do it, but don't give me a role that's stupid. I don't want to do anything stupid." and she made me the detective, which was okay with my masculine side. I was like, okay, I can handle that. And but it's just sort of just that creative itch or something, or whatever it is, and I was always attracted to it. And again, going down to Berkeley and then trying to find out, okay, what am I going to do? What's my thing here? And I just really wanted to develop my artistic side, and it just kind of ended up being part of the drama department and just getting sort of drawn into that. And then so it's just like this invisible force that kind of keeps pulling you in that line. I don't know what movie it's from, but every time I get out, they pull me back in. It's really true. And and after I started working at the paper, I just started working construction and got involved with the local theater, got cast in a play. Then I started doing some radio, and it's just like that creative itch, I think is big in some people. It's got to be scratched,
Oh, absolutely. You have an itch for it. You have to go jump on it.
Yeah.
Don't want to go away. Unless it's a rash, then leave it around. But the other question I wanted to ask you is looking for a good. There's so many on this page. I'm looking for a good one. Tell me what you're working on right now, and how can our fans and listeners get in touch with you?
Oh, thank you. So right now it's working on a couple things. Like we're making the writers group that I do. We write a poem at the end of the meeting every Thursday, and then sometimes we make movies out of these poems. The YouTube page is called Detroit Street Films. I put a few up there. There's some other ones on there, and it just ends up being like a 45, depending. Each person at the meeting writes a line, 12 words or less for the poem. So you got these poems that are like 30 lines long, and then we just sort of interpret it into a movie. And it's helped me as a beginning filmmaker sort of start to, all right, hone my skills, figure it out, get comfortable with the camera. I'm much more comfortable writing than I am figuring out camera angles and stuff like that. So also I was thinking, all right, I've got my own phone. You don't need anything to start a YouTube page. So I feel like I want to publish more frequently than just at like every 3 months or however long it takes to finish, edit, complete one of these poem movies. So I'm like, I want to do something every week. So I started a YouTube page called Silly and Harry. And it's just, my goal is basically upload content every week. And until I find some other people to play with me, it's just going to be me filming myself with little bits. Try not to make them long. I did one thing called 5 or 7 questions in Boys Town. I think that's how we met when I sent that to you. That was just a man on the street thing. Basically just trying different stuff out, see what sticks, you know?
No, absolutely. Now, the other question I want to ask you is, well, let's go save that one for the end. Actually, why not? Let's have fun with it. When I first approached you to be a guest in my talk show, what was, you can be brutally honest, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people?
Well, I just thought how cool he's got his own show. And obviously, honestly, that's something that I want to do forever. I've tried podcasts, I've tried to do things over the years. And I just thought how cool, and I liked your logo. And then I liked how it took us a while to get lined up. And I liked not only your patience, but your pushing through and nailing down the interview. It was really cool because I know I was, not evasive, but I was like, all right, I got to get, okay. It just took a little while, but you definitely pushed through and nailed it down. And that was really cool. And now I'm really glad we got to talk because like you said, hopefully it's the start of a friendship. We're talking. I feel like we're two creatives. We're talking, we're exchanging ideas. So it's really nice.
No, absolutely. The other question I wanted to ask is social media. Can it make you or break you with every single thing that you accomplished? Do you think it has helped your career or do you think it has kind of hindered you at the same time?
That's a great question. I feel like going back to your comment about being the type of person that says everything that's on their mind, it's tricky. It's tricky because you have to think. It's not back when I was going in college and stuff. The thing was think twice before you send an email. Now it's like think twice before you post. So I think that I'm still working on like how do I channel this to work for me, not against me. And I think having the YouTube page where it can just spit and just do my creative stuff. And now as I get older though, I noticed that it's like, you know what, I'm gonna let my personality out and just be myself. And that I feel like I've established a sort of peace. My mom's on my Facebook, just stuff like that. But like some fun, like what did I put something up? Just something like like not swear words and stuff, but just like, parts of movies and stuff, just throw it out there. Just be yourself. So I guess to answer your question, I think it's helping because it's all about branding, right? You want to say, this is who I am. This is what I can bring every day. Walking out of my door, this is what I can give you. And so I hope that the people who are like on my Facebook, I hope that some people say, hey, that made me chuckle or that made my day. It's like, oh, that's all I ask,
No, absolutely. Now, how can our listeners get in touch with you? Are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah. So so on Instagram, it's just Geoff Altrocchi. And then on, I think on LinkedIn, it's Geoffrey Altrocchi. On Facebook, it's Jeff's Politics, and then my YouTube is Silly and Harry. So maybe the best thing to do is take this name here that you see and Google it, and these things will come up. Again, branding. I just eventually just started doing stuff with my own name. Other than Silly and Harry, but basically just doing stuff with my own name.
No, absolutely. And your Instagram name will be on the bottom of the screen. It was mine. So our viewers can and will hopefully will subscribe.
Yeah.
Also, all your social media links will be, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, it will be in the description box. All your social media links will be there. And so don't worry, I got it covered. But I do have a couple questions for you wrapping up the show off the air. But wrapping up, I want everyone to make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network. We're available on Facebook.com, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Make sure if you're watching, once again, On YouTube, hit that bell icon. You'll be notified when brand new interviews are available. Hit to subscribe on Facebook, and you will never miss a beat. But with that being said, wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. I want to say thank you for taking the time, and I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. I love it, man. I love your energy, and this is a great way to spend a half hour. Or what? I lost track of time. However long we spent, it was a great way to spend time.
No, absolutely. Hey, you know what? My show is about disabilities, making a new friend, and hashtag break the labels and break the stereotypes. Like I said, I would definitely talk to you off the air. But wrapping up, until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.